Welcome back. It's After the Ashes, a beautiful Altadena podcast on fire recovery through a public policy lens. This is your co-host, Shauna. We are recording this episode on Tuesday, February 3rd, and this is Season 2, Episode 8, Water Wars and False Prophets.
Well, you got that right. I couldn't get the episode in the episode of the season right.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's why I have notes in front of me, so I don't fuck it up.
Oh, that's why, because I would say Episode 8, Season 2, and you had 2, and you messed up my logic. That's why it didn't fit.
Yes, it was me.
By the way, it's Steve here, her co-host.
It was me. It wasn't.
No, I'm saying it has nothing to do with you. It's that I don't read it because I was automatically glossing over it to look at it differently. It's my fault, obviously.
And I apologize for the crumpling sounds. I brought popcorn in the studio because I needed a snack. And it's this protein popcorn, and it's actually really
Don't
good.
do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to talk about who's making it because I'm not even going to say that name. It's like saying Voldemort. I won't do it. But
she who will remain nameless.
But this shit is good, damn it.
All right, let's go to this one.
It's like the other person related to that person who's underclothing, and lingerie basics, who shall also remain unnamed because again another Voldemort. But again, that shit is good. It makes me angry that it's good.
So
like, damn it, I don't want to like it.
When I had a tux, when I could fit in my tux, when I was in good shape, I had a black tie. Because I couldn't find a black tie, and the only tie I could get was a Trump tie.
Oh God! Like what, a long red tie?
No, it was a black. It was
tie?
Black, but it was the only black tie they had at the store when I went to go.
Wait, it was like Trump brand?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was a thing. Come on, everything was branded Trump. This was before he ran for president. This was like in 2014, 2015.
Oh my gosh!
I got to send you a picture of the bumper sticker I have. Everybody needs a good comb over. It's on my. It's a picture of Donald Trump. This is before he ran, before he even talked about it.
Oh my gosh! So our last episode ran a little long because we just can't help ourselves. We'll try and keep this one a little tighter. It's not even can't help ourselves. We have so much to talk about.
There's a lot going on. We're trying to condense 3 into 2.
Yeah, and when we take a week off, like we did last week, it's like trying to condense 6 into 2. Really, it's a lot.
And things picked up. The holidays ended. The crescendo,
the anniversary
of the anniversary figure. Everybody kind of caught their breath, and now things are starting to move along again, and politics is like that. I'm seeing this in Washington as much as I'm seeing it here too. People are starting to, realize, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And that is what I think we're going to start talking about.
It is, and about the drama and the intrigue. No shortage of drama and intrigue.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
It's fucking crazy. Are we going to open with that? It's supposed to be.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We were going to talk about.
So many people have said to me, like, what the fuck happened?
I know. So we were going to open with our usual media roundup, but I think that we have to jump ahead.
Well, it is media roundup.
It kind of is, right? It kind of is. And talk about the issue, ongoing issue with our water companies, our water mutuals, but very specifically our kind of deep throat Substack compatriot, Altadena Water Wars, JJ Giddys, who. Those who don't,
gone.
Yeah. So those who have not been following, and don't know what we're talking about, last year
in December.
This all played out inside of a month. On December 20th, Steve and I both got a note through Instagram inviting us to become. I'm sorry, I said Instagram. Substack.
Get your social media right.
I know. I sound like an old person.
Well, at least you know how to use Substack. I don't know. I'm still teaching, Steve. We're getting there. Baby steps. Baby steps for the baby, right?
We got this notice, and you can find all this on my Substack because I've shared it all over there now, and then we'll get to that too. We got this note, and it was a very specific thing saying, hey, JJ Giddis at Altadena Water Wars. And for those who don't get the reference, JJ Giddis is the lead character in Chinatown. And if you've read Steve or listened to this on the podcast, Steve has said repeatedly, and I have echoed this, that the situation with our water mutuals is like Chinatown in the foothills. So we knew that whoever this was, this anonymous account starting this anonymous Substack, was very clearly someone who reads him and or listens to the podcast.
So he's like one of 5 people.
But it was safe to say listens to the podcast because the note, along with the invitation to be a collaborator and a co-writer, co-author of posts on this Altadena Water Wars Substack, went to both Steve and myself. And we were both like, wait, did you get this? Did you get this? Like, what? So then we waited a while.
What is it? I wrote the post on that, Christmas in December or early Christmas present or something.
Right?
To that
Yeah.
effect.
So that was December 20th. And it wasn't until the first week of January, actually, I think January 1st or 2nd, that we got our first post from Altadena Water Wars that on kind of some history and background. And then we had a bunch of posts that ramped up. And the last post was on January 29th.
He was pretty, or
assuming it's a he, they,
he being
whomever.
Giddis, that's where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. They were very, I thought they were pretty down the middle.
Yeah.
They weren't like...
Well, until that last post. The post on January 29th on Rubio Canyon Water.
But even that wasn't that bad.
Well, compared to us, it wasn't that bad. But...
I guess when you get to our level...
Yeah, you and I are pretty, like call a spade, but most people dance around things and don't want to go there and want to maintain, being nice to everybody. At least on one side of their face while they're busy saying something else in private rooms.
Sticking the knife in? Yeah.
Yep.
Was it real friends stab you in the front?
Correct. That we're the real ones.
That's
we are the real ones.
My buddy always says that.
It's the truth, though. And I've said this, forever about myself because it's the truth. You will always know where you stand with me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I will never lie to your face and I'll never say anything about you that I wouldn't say to you, very simply. Well, and that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, I'm afraid.
But when you're in these positions like we are, the words we're saying out in public, you have to be able to stand behind.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I stand by everything I say.
And when you say so much and you write so much and do so much, it's just easier to say what's true as opposed to trying to play
bullshit
games.
And play games. Yeah. I'd rather not play the bullshit in games. I tell the truth. And when I'm wrong, and I know you feel the same way, Steve, I'm wrong. Like if I'm wrong, I'll call it and be like, hey, cool, I was wrong.
Hey, I've been married for 25 years.
Right?
No, 20 years.
Or like, hey, this was my opinion, but now there's new information, so I've changed my opinion.
I'm used to being
right. Like it's okay to do that. It's okay to change your mind. People forget that. It's okay to change your mind. So I would love to know who changed the mind of our dear writer here on Substack, because out of nowhere, so we have this post on January 29th, and on the morning of January 30th, everything is gone. And I mean everything. It's like if you follow the old links, the Substack can't be found. There's no Substack by this name. The writer, the JJ Giddis account, so the author account is gone. And then another layer is that even the email associated with it, that some correspondence had been happening back and forth with this person, also now dead.
Yeah.
The email address was killed. And so it begged the question of what happened, because when you go that nuclear and try to remove, and like someone else I know had gone into kind of the Wayback Machine trying to find an archive of these posts on the internet, even that had been pulled. Like someone went to no small length to remove all traces of this from the internet, which made me wonder if someone got threatened with a lawsuit.
Well,
by whom?
Well, what's interesting about all this is I remember when I was doing some work in Washington, and I remember I was going up against some pretty heavy vested interests, and everybody was very careful to cover their tracks. Like this is very much similar to some of that. We called it the tinfoil hat type stuff.
Yep.
But somebody out there has fear of something big here. I don't know if it's a lawsuit or if there's a political thing here.
Something
but there's
happened.
Some really powerful entity involved here. And, there were always whispers about like NSA and, other eavesdropping that can happen on your cell phones and your emails and stuff like that I always kind of just chalked up to whatever. And, I always said, well, whatever I say is public anyway, so what difference does it make from a political side?
Right.
But when I saw this, it really felt similar. I haven't had this feeling in over almost 10 years.
It was something big is going on.
Something's happening.
Yeah, things are moving, and something big clearly happened for that to have been the case, for that to have happened. So to that note, and to that end, I like receipts, Steve.
Yeah, you kept them all.
And I'm one of those people who I've been on the internet a long time, really my entire life, because my life where the internet started after I was already out in the world. Okay. So I learned a long time ago.
1980s.
A long time, 70s. I mean, I learned a long time ago
No, I
to
said
keep
that you
receipts.
grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. To keep receipts.
Not like us 90s people.
Right? To keep the receipts because shit will go down. And so I did keep receipts. And by receipts, I mean every single post I had saved and from Altadena Water Wars. So to that end, if you would like to see those posts, reference those posts, go back to that material, look at that archive, all you have to do is go to my beautiful Altadena Substack and click on the Altadena Water Wars tab, and you will find every single post and communication archived and dated verbatim, including all images and links and embedded videos. It's all there.
Well,
because the internet never dies, folks.
Well, look, I think for whoever this person was, as I said,
well,
what they did was there was obviously a political agenda there, and their political agenda was consolidation and pushing for consolidation. And they gave us a lot of good intel. But I think it also shows the power of somebody who has insider knowledge, being able to use that insider knowledge to help affect whatever that agenda is. And, you know, I'd love to see this from other sources within.
Yeah, me too. Well, just as we've said a few times that we wish someone was doing this for philanthropy.
Or even inside the government, like inside the county, inside the state. Like there are people that are disaffected or not disaffected. What's the word? Like dissatisfied.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that, you know, it's
not just dissatisfied, but concerned and aware.
And they believe that things are not going as they should. And, you know, they also know that decisions are being made in ways that don't necessarily benefit the people that they should be benefiting. So, you know, the self-interest masked in altruism is real. So anyway, it's just that was such an interesting episode in our journey that we've been having over the last year. It's going to be definitely a chapter in the book.
Yeah. Oh, in your book.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, how could it not be? But anyhow, to whomever, if you're listening,
thank you,
JJ.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope that it is a help and not a hindrance. I hope it is genuinely a help that we were able to repost all of that and that it can live and that it wasn't you. Whomever you are.
We have no clue.
We really don't. Even the few insiders that we have, you have your sources, I have mine. I genuinely don't believe it was any of them.
No.
So, yeah, but it was clearly someone who was on the inside.
Good.
Again, I know. I love it. I'm
glad
here
that
for
they
it.
had the courage to do it.
Me too. Because as you and I know, it takes balls to do this stuff.
Well, especially when you're political.
Yeah.
You're politically tied to organizations.
And I mean, on that, it's you know, I'm going to write about this I've started the post on Substack and I will get it up today.
Is this
finally.
the post that you've been writing for a week now?
I have been writing it for a week because every time I go to get it wrapped up to post, things like major developments happen, things change,
well, that's why you
and
have
I'm
to do
rewriting
it,
and rewriting.
No, don't just do it, and then you just write another one.
I'm not writing daily like Steve, so
sometimes twice daily.
So I know, even sometimes thrice.
I haven't done that in a long time,
but it's happened. It has happened. I don't know how between your morning walk and then driving to the studio, you managed to post.
It's called typos.
I was like, what the
typos. It's called
typos. How did you get this post up?
Well, because I've been thinking about it.
Okay.
When I write, I think about things for a while, and then I just write.
So I'm going to bring us back because I'm determined to keep us tight on time today for this episode. Don't look at me like that. He's shaking. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want people to fall asleep.
They don't. They're interested by this. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening.
I don't want to fall asleep.
I mean, what ridiculousness would you want to put yourself through to listen to us unless you actually wanted to know?
Amen to that. So, like I said, I don't want to go too deep into it, but as we've already talked about on our last episode 2 weeks ago, I believe we talked about it. Did we talk about what happened with the Las Flores water meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did. Okay,
yeah,
we did. It was after the meeting.
Basically put your you-know-what on the table and told everybody to go pound sand.
Yeah.
And then Rubio did theirs, and Lincoln's going to do theirs.
Or not yet. So Lincoln Water has theirs tonight. If I got the order right, let me double check because I don't want to misstate.
Lincoln and Las Flores
are going to now have their meetings, right?
They're
so
aligned. Well,
they are, but they are not.
Well, they're aligned insofar as they're willing to play ball, whereas Rubio is still kind of like, well, we're more financially solvent than everyone else, even though they only have $8 million to do hundreds of millions of dollars worth of rebuild.
Yeah. So we've got Rubio tonight. Rubio Canyon, Tuesday, February 3rd, 5 to 7 p.m., Altadena Community Center. And then Thursday, the 5th at 5:30 p.m. is the Loma Alta Park Community Room for Lincoln Avenue water customers. And those are opportunities to go have these conversations about what's happening. If you are a shareholder, it's important to note these are not open to the public. They are for shareholders only. Shareholders are people who are property owners in these water areas. And then if you're a constituent, if you're someone who is a renter or otherwise, paying a water bill to one of these folks, you have a right to be there as well. So, but they've made it very clear now, post the unexpected turnout to my Water Mutuals meeting at Las Flores, that attendees, must be the shareholders. They must have proof that they're a customer. No outsiders, no media, no recording. Oh yeah, I know.
Well,
but
that's
but
the
here's
whole
the
purpose
deal.
of a public meeting.
No shit. I mean, from what I've heard from the inside, they didn't even they wanted to hold these meetings during the daytime in hopes that people couldn't make it, because they know what's coming. Both are going to people are pissed, and both are going to introduce rate hikes. It sounds like Rubio's is significant. Sounds like the rate hike coming from Rubio, which we'll know more tonight after tonight's meeting, will not just be on par with Las Flores's, but when you add it up, will actually be significantly more expensive and has no end date. This is like we're raising things and charging fire fees.
But wasn't
in
Rubio
perpetuity.
below market before?
I don't know that they were below market before. I think that arguably, you could say that they all were to some degree, but because as I understand it, this is how these little water mutuals work, is keeping rates to some degree artificially low.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose. That's
right?
why everybody stayed away from Pasadena Water and Power.
Yep. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes out of these meetings, especially in light of what we've seen so far and what we've heard so far. I think it's also worth noting and covering the fact that all three water mutuals were in Sacramento last week.
Yep.
Looking for money.
And I think they are going to get it.
I think they'll get it too, but it sounds like the pushback and the reason they didn't leave with money. And I want to go back and preface this for context for our listeners, to remind folks, these water mutuals are privately held. They are three individual, separate, privately held entities with shareholders, all of us, right? But they are not public entities. So as we kept hearing from Las Flores, and I'm sure we will hear this week from Rubio and from Lincoln, they are not eligible for public funding. They aren't eligible for grants. They don't get public money.
They're not eligible for public funding from the state.
Correct.
Through that other state-based or government entities can receive.
This has been the story.
They got to be careful what they're saying, because as 501c3s, they're entirely they can go and put out municipal or tax-exempt bonds. Mm-hmm. They can do that through the state development authority and GoBiz.
They could also take on private funding.
Oh, they could do
from
CRA money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've been talking about.
That's what I was talking to them about for a while.
Yeah.
This is all bullshit that they don't have access. They just want free money.
Correct. They want
By the way, Community Land Trust, if you think you're going to get $1.7 billion, where do you think the money's going to go if the state's going to give us money?
Yeah, it's going to the water companies.
It's going to go to the water companies, which are far more powerful than you.
Well, and far more in need, bluntly.
Well, you can't rebuild if you don't have water.
You can't have a town without water.
And you can't add all those people in the density that they want to have if you don't have water.
And we're going to talk about the state of the rebuild, and I want to just talk about the density for a quick minute, and we'll come back to the money. But on this topic of density, I was having a conversation with a neighbor who was talking about one little section of Maiden Lane, okay? We're not talking about the entirety of Altadena. We're talking about one block, a half a block, really. And that within that half a block, oh gosh, I have to go and look at my notes for exactly how much.
Yeah, because I couldn't believe what you were telling me.
Yeah, I know. We can move on from densification, but
well, it's going to be a fight.
The bottom line is, our infrastructure in county was 30 years behind before the fire. We're light years behind post-fire. redeveloping for a new world and a new community with a lot more people. And there doesn't appear to be any plans for that.
Well, and somebody said to me, going back to the money from the feds, they said, well, is the federal government responsible for upgrading the infrastructure that the county has been neglecting for so long? And this also applies to the Palisades. Is it their responsibility to do it, or is it our responsibility to do it? Because the feds aren't the ones that made this mess. They're not the ones that underinvested in the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Why should they be the ones to clean it up?
Yeah.
So just to go back to our last episode and some of the topics that were brought up there. All right, let's go on to our governor and all the wonderful press that he was getting.
Well, let's go to our media roundup. And one of the line items in my notes for the media roundup for today's episode was like Gavin.
Well, he's getting a lot of attention.
Gavin. He had his New Yorker story. He had his.
The New Yorker one was long.
Well, and did you see the Vogue piece?
No,
So he's in Vogue, and you should see his the black and white images.
He's not spooning with Guilfoyle on this one, is he?
No, I don't think so.
No, which one was that? He did that back in the early
Wait, are you talking about the one that's like on the bear rug?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Right before they got divorced.
That.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, it was in the New Yorker piece they were talking.
Was
about
it really?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, Politico started because he's got his book coming out. And his book goes up to becoming governor. It's like the rise of Gavin Newsom, and it's supposed to be a tell-all, and it's supposed to be able to defang some of the Oppo research that's coming. Though, did you see the California Post piece they had on it?
I didn't, because call me crazy. I don't read the New York Post.
I had to see it because I had to see what the counter to it was all going to be, and it says Gavin's Gals. That was their cover of that art for their response to it all, and I was like, okay, yep, they're here.
And there it is.
They're there. They're loud and they're proud. So,
well, I mean, it was California Post that Sasha used in the post that I was talking about the last episode.
What are you talking about?
So,
what you talking about, Sana? Sasha did something in the California Post?
No.
Okay.
She was using a cover for her social media, screaming about it, like,
oh, they're here. They're gonna. The media's coming for me.
No, more like Trump, like, where's the money? Bring us the money. We're waiting for it. Everything is the Fed's fault.
By the way, Sasha knew all about all the financing things that we talked about. I spoke with her people, so she can't claim that she was ignorant or she wasn't aware.
Like last time, that she didn't know.
She knew.
She didn't know what she had put her name on.
So anyway, so Gavin, obviously, here's his next stage in his run for president. It's, but the fascinating thing of that New Yorker article is where he's likening himself to the centrists and the establishment in the party.
Right. So that was so interesting.
I was like, come on, man. Is this one of those, like, if you say it enough, it becomes true?
Well, that was kind of the thing, is they were, in that piece. And I think what was so interesting about that piece was that it did go at length into his past policies and alignments, and the fact that he was very politically aligned with, California's most progressive parties, and in fact, some of the most challenging, ineffective policy around progressive ideals. And I say this as someone who would identify as a progressive, or at least I thought I did until recently. I don't know. Now maybe I'm a centrist, maybe I'm a moderate. I don't know. Because is common sense moderate? Is that what we're calling it now? But
I think it's pragmatism. I don't think it has to be left, Republican or Democrat. I think you're just trying to be a pragmatist.
Yes, like I'm an Altadenan. That's it. I'd like Altadena to do well. Whatever, I support Altadena. But and however we get that, great. I'm here for it. But as they talked about the fact that, Gavin had aligned himself with all of this and now is aligning himself with these, very moderate policies, with centrist policies. And, oh no, wait for it, because you'll love this. It was not the affordability conversation, but the abundance agenda, right? Which, and the abundance agenda has largely been associated with conservative policy ideals, even if that's not entirely what it is. And there are, again, I kind of hate all these labels, because there's elements of the quote unquote abundance agenda that is actually, again, being the pragmatist, it's not bad. So, it's not all bad.
I get it. He is.
But he has this challenge point now, is he's trying to just be like,
he's
going after,
not be a Californian.
trying to be correct. And also trying to be the strong man, going after, Trump. But guess what? Like, you can't run from who you are, right?
So let's go back to our
like,
theme
it's
of the day.
Cheetah trying to lose his...
chameleon.
we are really, like, we're pulling out all the 80 stops today.
Well, he'd be the first Gen X president, as the article alluded to.
Yes. But anyhow, I think it is, a tough one. And it's especially tough, I think, for Californians. Like, I want to support Gavin because I want to support California, and I certainly want to support democracy. And I think that, whomever runs against the current federal administration, we all need to put ourselves behind, and we can't let it be what happened in 2016 because her laugh or because she didn't have this experience, which I love the quote that I read this morning. It was like, we have conflated the idea of experience for political roles with establishment. And I think that's true. It's like, oh, well, they're not experienced enough. No, they're not establishment.
Well, that's what you're talking about with Susan Collins' line.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But she's right.
By the way, and Susan Collins, even though she's a Republican, is a great senator.
Again, I'm beyond partisan anything. No, it's like...
But she's the only logical...
If you're saying things that are smart, I'm going to listen.
Murkowski, there's a few of them over there.
And that was smart. But anyhow, to go back to it is, I think that now that we're so deep into what's happened here and look behind the curtain, and as you've heard me say on multiple episodes, in this state where we are so Democratic driven, led, and owned and operated, we are a Democratic state we are blue through and through. The call's coming from inside the House, right? We don't have anybody else to blame as much as we want to blame others. We don't have others to blame. The problem is in our party, and we have to fix it. And we sure as hell better fix it by the midterms, but most especially before we get to 28, or we're in big trouble. I mean, people like you and me, maybe not you, but me, will hold their nose and vote for Gavin because we have to do it.
Well, my issue with Gavin is
election. But he's really blown it here.
And that's the thing is I think that people don't realize how badly it's been blown.
It's bad.
And, he wants to just like drive over this.
And gloss over it.
And, like I've said about the state of the state, you can't bullshit your way through this. And he's trying to get through his last year without any kind of, anything sticking to him. And he's going to use every tool in his repertoire to do it. And if Gavin was serious about policy and serious about the things that he wants to do, he never would have vetoed 797. Because he could have been moving this rebuild along much quicker, and he could have taken more leadership from the start. He was aware of what was going on. He was aware of how it could have worked. I mean, his office was brought in at the outset of this whole thing in January of 2025. So, like, the fact that this has gone as far as it has, I just have trouble with him. It's disingenuous. That's my issue.
Yeah, I have a lot of issues, but I agree with you.
And I really want to see a true centrist, not a guy who claims to be a centrist when it's politically expedient, and then, does what he did with Prop 50, which was, I think he gave the party over to the far left. My readers will know that. And if you read my stuff today, I talk a little bit more about that. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And I just feel like he's taken the trust fund of California and he's truly bankrupted us. And he's going to just walk out the door and leave us. And we're going to sit here looking around saying, what happened? And hopefully we get somebody who can come in after him and actually bring this place back to where it needs to go. Because Lord knows it ain't good.
It's not good. And I mean, for a lot of reasons, I'm not going to get deep into this conversation again of the toxic situation in Altadena.
Where he couldn't come up with $70 million, but he came up with $350 million or $300 million for his little vanity project.
He's going to have to own that because it's really bad. It's really, really bad what's happened in Altadena. You've heard me talk about the gas station dirt business, and that continues, and it's bad. And we can't it's not just blaming the county. That is the state. It's not just about the county, the feds either. It is the state. We could have fixed it. We chose not to. And now here we are.
But, Gavin has everybody really lining up behind him, and he has everybody.
Because who else is there?
The media
he's the white guy that they think is going to take it.
The media's afraid that he's. It was the disingenuousness of it all I'm going to just say a couple facts because I figured them out this morning and I thought they were really interesting. And I'm going back to Prop 50 because to me, that is the moment where that's like his crowning achievement as governor of California. All the other things notwithstanding. You know, when Texas decided to do his thing, we heard all about how they were disenfranchising Democrats and how horrible it was what Texas was going to do to Democrats and all this stuff. Texas went from 13 seats out of 38 that were Democrats down to potentially 8 out of 30. Mm-hmm. 8. 13, that means 13 was 34% of the congressional delegation. That went 42% for Kamala. So 58% for Trump. Now down to 8 seats, it represents 21% of the delegation. Okay? Let's look at California because I think this is a really interesting thing. We were at 9 out of 52 before Prop 50 passed.
Okay.
That was 17% of our seats for 38% of the people that went for Trump. So roughly the same numbers, Republican, Democrat on the other side, but we were at 17%. We were below where Texas is today, assuming everything works out. We were half at that time of where Texas was before at that election. Now we're down to 7%. And we talk about how we're the ones preserving democracy. I just want people to think about this because where was the media when all this was going on? And yes, I know there's people out there saying, Steve, this is a hill you've died on and you don't want to let go. But I think it's more of a canary in the coal mine of we're getting tricked into this. And I get why we did it, but I don't get why we did it because I think it's just put us on a path that what our governor did was he took what was a good state and a good policy and a good idea and he used it for his own political means, and he's going to leave us with a freaking mess on our hands after it leaves. And if you want to know why the Supreme Court may actually overrule Prop 50, it's because of that fact. 7% of our entire population will be represented through our congressional delegation. That is not representative. That's a joke.
Yep.
Sorry.
I don't disagree, Steve. You know I don't disagree. Should we talk about another story that hit?
Which one?
The LAS story. I thought that was kind of interesting. We have new ordinances that were passed, specifically rent laws. In fact, so this is an LAS story, and the specific headline is, after the fires, LA passed new laws against rent gouging, but they're not being used.
You know, it's interesting. We had a phone call from here in Pasadena about this. Like the enforcement on this was
it's non-existent.
Well, because it's impossible to enforce.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. So
well, it's easy to do. I mean, they can just go sue Airbnb and.
Well, no, but this is about rent gouging post-fire. This is about violating the illegal increases in rent post-fire, because that was happening. I mean, I know that I was getting presented $7,000 shitty rentals.
Yeah.
By my insurance company that were, not even remotely comparable, but it was like, here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath in Pasadena for $7,000. It was insane.
I know.
So they were the crux of this article is that, we passed these new laws to stop these massive rent hikes on housing that was available to fire victims. And a grassroots org called the Rent Brigade had a big report and did their homework just to take a look. And bottom line, no fines have been levied after the LA County Board of Supervisors after they gave local officials the authority to monetarily punish landlords. However, more than 18,000 listings have violated the state law banning rent increases of more than 10% following a disaster. So we know this. We were seeing them daily in my group. I'm not surprised.
It was ridiculous.
It's only they're still happening. And not one fine and not one lawsuit have been pursued, even though they put laws on the books. And this gets back to the
abundance agenda.
This gets back to what I keep talking about of this performative politicking and performative policy of, look at us, we passed a motion. Look at us, we passed this law. Look at us, we're doing this. We're showing up and with all the community orgs and glad handing and back patting and doing all this self-congratulatory shit. That look it, we're fixing it. When in fact, they're literally doing nothing. They're doing the least possible to actually help people
that's California
following
politics.
this. And I think that
There's
is
a problem,
the
pass a bill. And then does the bill ever get enforced?
Nope. It goes back to Altadena for accountability, trying to push the Attorney General for this, independent investigation with subpoena power, because all of the reports that have been issued, that was another story that came out about how, Cal OES, who was responsible for these after action reports, has yet to produce any of them for multiple disasters that are now 5, 6, 7 years past. Where are they? They're supposed to, per the policy, happen within a calendar year. We're not getting them at all. They're just not happening. And no one's enforcing this, and no one's doing anything about it. And it's
Hey, if you have a committee that's doing an audit of the fire and the response and everything, maybe you want to look at some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so
give
disturbing.
The media credit, but this is part of the problem: is that apathy is ruling the day. In the media, there are so many stories that are being created. That they don't get deep enough into it in some cases because there's political agendas, and B, there's just so much. How do you make sense of it all? Like, where is that central repository?
Yeah, it's I think those who are aware, are becoming increasingly frustrated, and it is increasingly frustrated to see those who should be aware turn a blind eye, or worse, no, and just, like it is, they're turning the blind eye, just ignoring it and falling in line with these people, with these electeds, because they think that they're going to get some sort of favor, or they're going to somehow get, movement for an agenda or funding that is needed. And, they convince themselves that the only way that they can be effective is to continue down this path because, well, we have to, like, we have to get in line with these people to get what we need. When in reality, the only way to, and I said this in the last episode, I will say it again, I'll probably start saying it every episode, the only way to achieve true advocacy is to step outside of and challenge those structures.
You can't be an advocate from the inside.
Can't.
I mean, you can't affect
You can't
change.
say, "Look at me. I'm here with Barger. I'm here with Sasha. I'm here with all the politicos. Look at, they call me. I'm on speed dial." Great. So you're part of the machine. All you're telling me is you are part of the establishment. You're part of the machine. This is where you're aligned, and thus you are not part of the solution.
But you have to understand that I wrote about this in my first book when I wrote it, and I've never actually published it, but I wrote this. I remember this chapter, and you have to make a decision if you're going to be on the inside or the outside.
Correct.
And if you're on the inside, you are always going to do whatever they tell you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, because you
You're
can't have power without it.
You're a puppet.
If you are on the outside, you will never be on the inside. You will never be trusted.
Yep.
And you have to choice. You have to make that choice.
You do.
Now, what's interesting is being on the outside. I view myself on the outside for certain groups, the groups that are the establishment groups, the ones that continue to influence things. I also get a lot of access from the inside because you also have to be able to play that role.
Right.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I was having an email exchange with somebody about the nonprofits and, just where philanthropy is going and how it's going to work and where we're going with all of it. And I think about the people that have access to that, who they're publicly out there, who have, had these, discussed some of these connections and these groups that they work with. But I wonder, why am I even being talked to and viewed, being asked for policy ideas and things like that? And these groups are not. I'm wondering, inside, outside, how does this all work? And, sometimes I find, in Washington, it's about the roundtables, right? You have these roundtables for these issues, and it's the same groups that are pulled into these roundtables to have the discussion. But it doesn't mean that they're the ones that ultimately affect the policy.
Right.
And they just have the friends, and that's sort of how it works.
It's how it works. But I think it's time to
rip the Band-Aid off?
Yeah. It is. It's time to confront that.
You aren't going to be able to do they're going to say, well, if you're on the inside, you can do a lot more than if you're on the outside. Maybe.
Nah, but
I don't. You've had a year.
Exactly.
You've had a year. And
the proof is in the pudding.
And so to keep playing this game and pushing it out and telling everybody it's okay. We're on the inside. We have the media. Like, you remember that piece I wrote? It was in September. The one, I think it's called something, The Rumbles, about, you remember, it was after 782 was getting passed, and somebody in the community groups had called me and said, everybody found out that the promises they were made weren't going to happen, particularly around the land
which
trusts.
we've been talking about repeatedly, that like this, like you've been lied to, is not going to happen. And I got a lot of shit for saying that.
But yet, at the same time,
but it was the
none
truth.
of those groups were going to push back on the person who
promised this,
misrepresented. I guess is the best way to put it. And because they're afraid that they'll lose access.
Right.
But what they don't realize is that.
But like, oh, but look what this person's doing with us.
What good is the access if you can't actually further your cause?
It's true. You know, it's
This is a philosophical conversation.
It is, but it's where we're stuck. It's where we're stuck politically in general. And I think that, you know, while people may not be able to always articulate how they feel or what it is at this moment, you know, certain things really hit and resonate. I share a ton through our beautiful Altadena Instagram stories, right? I'm
with your tens of thousands of followers. Right, you have like tens of thousands of followers.
Not specifically on Instagram, but yes.
No, but I think it's
important. We have like
important.
8,000 followers on Instagram, but you know the bulk of
because for the media that are listening for this from outside the area,
I mean,
you have to understand
our group, like our beautiful Altadena Facebook group, that is a private group that we weed people out of that group daily, because our goal is not to increase those numbers; it's to keep it tight. Of true,
so it's representative
Altadena,
of Altadena.
Correct. It's Altadena residents, and anyone who's like, I hate to say it, but like if they don't pass what I call the next door test, like if they just want to be nasty, if they come in with, you know, vitriol for people of color, if they come in with, you know, the people who are like, oh, we need ICE here to get rid of the bad people, I remove them. There's no space for that in the community.
You don't. You have administrators.
We have a whole team, but our group rules are such that we don't tolerate that. So my point is that we've long maintained that the point of that group is quality over quantity. And so it is very much, in fact, we're struggling right now with what to do with the members who were longtime Altadenans who've left the community and have made it clear they're never coming back, and at what point we pull them. But that is another conversation. I digress. The point is that, yes, we've got more than 10,000 in that group. When you total up our subgroups and our public-facing beautiful Altadena, it's about 20,000. And then the 8 on Instagram, and then, you know, the hundreds of thousands that we reach through Substack, actually more than that, because I'm shockingly a bestseller and shockingly somehow trending for national news. I'm not,
for everybody's
I don't know how. It makes me think if I were more prolific as a citizen journalist, I would really be blowing up, and I should probably, you know, take that statement to heart and actually get on it. Steve's looking at me like, no shit, Shauna, fucking right. Because I write a ton, but it's in the private group. But anyhow, all of that is to say,
but you're leaving the void to be filled by somebody like me. So you imagine if you actually did it.
I know. So back to that though, with reach, the Instagram, even though we, only have, 8,000 odd followers, the reach we have, especially through all the collaborative posts we do, et cetera, is anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million people every 30 days, a month. So it's a lot of fucking eyeballs. And I post a lot of stuff.
Especially for a town of 40,000 people.
Correct. And I post a lot.
That's total. That's
a lot less to post and a lot more to stories, because there's just so much to post daily with so many things happening, events, important information being shared, et cetera. I do a lot of that through stories where we post, literally 500 stories plus a month. And one of the things that I shared that I never thought in a million years I would be sharing something from Rick Caruso, but I shared in my stories.
Was this the one in the California Post?
I don't know if it was the California Post.
He had an op-ed.
I know he did, and it may actually be part of that. But I shared this post from Rick Caruso.
It sounds like it was the
and he was specifically talking about, this is not a partisan thing in this city anymore. The city failed, the county failed, the state failed, the feds have failed. Literally everyone has failed us here post-disaster, and people are sick of being pitted against one another and being put in these positions of like, let's point fingers. It's these guys, these Republicans are the bad guys. No, these Democrats are the bad guys. No, we're beyond this. And people are so sick of the finger pointing and the partisan politics. It's like, just fucking fix it. I don't care who fixes it.
I've told you guys what to do. We've reached out to you guys.
Yeah.
This is
we're here.
We've been talking about this.
We have solutions
since last summer. So I'm glad that you finally figured it out, but welcome to the party, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm with you. I'm so with you. It's beyond frustrating.
And that's why you should have run for mayor or
yep,
governor.
Or governor. That post, which I never in a million years thought I would be saying, I would have fully supported Rick Caruso for either of those roles at this point. That I voted against him in the past, I would have voted for him, because it's just, we got to try something different. You know, what's the definition of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result?
Insanity.
Yeah, it's just, it's enough, guys. And everyone's had an opportunity and time to get this right, and no one's getting it right. And the only people that lose here are us. We're the ones losing, not anybody else. So let's talk about the state of the rebuild.
Wait.
Well, we talk about how much we're losing.
Wait. I got something for you, because let's go back to Caruso.
I'm looking at the clock, so I'm like, let's move on.
Look at this dog's out of this horse out of the barn at this point. So let's go back to Caruso for a sec, because I think this is an important thing, because while Caruso's not running for governor, there are a bunch of candidates that are running for governor.
Yep.
And a lot of them need to be serious about it. And, you know, somebody was talking to me about Matt Mahan, who's now running. He's got Caruso's endorsement already, and probably reason why Caruso decided not to run. And I was talking to them, and I said, look, you know, if Mahan really wants to actually take that centrist, pragmatic role or the lane that he's going for, I'm going to put something out there. I think Shauna would agree with me on this. Come on our podcast. Mm-hmm. Come see Altadena. Don't do what other candidates have done, which is show up, do a quick thing with the town council, and then leave.
Right, and say that you represented, you did something with the people, because that does not represent the people.
Not at all. And the EFRU, the LTG, Long-Term Recovery Group, I mean, all these groups are part of
the same machine, but it's
all the same
machine. Come talk to the actual community.
We will take you. Like, I offered this to Governor Bashir, and unfortunately he had a scheduling conflict, but we will take you through the town. We will show you what it is. We'll show you what we're talking about. We'll show you how people are actually supporting what we're saying. And you know what? You want to know what it really is all about, why you're doing this, why we need pragmatic solutions, why we need grown-ups and serious people, not the unserious propositions that we're getting. It's because of this. So come to see us. Come hear us. Come talk to us. We're not going to yell at you.
No, we're not.
We want to have a conversation to show that we can be a resource, because we have tried to lead this initiative coming out of Altadena, and unfortunately, we've been left behind.
We've all been left behind.
And we've been disappointed by those that could have made things happen and could have started giving us tools.
And who've made themselves self-appointed leaders and self-appointed voices for fire survivors, but they're not. And at this point, they're doing the town a disservice. Because, you know, when you take up that much oxygen in the room and people think they're hearing from the people, they don't actually make the effort to go listen to the people. And that's a problem. So it is a real problem. I'm going to circle back on that Caruso bit, because I don't think I landed the point, which was that when I shared that, because I couldn't believe how much I agreed with him and that I could have said the exact same words that he was saying, and I have said them here on the podcast, I couldn't believe how many others it resonated with. That was one of my top performing posts in months, because that is where we collectively are at. We have fucking had it. People are they're done. There's no more finger pointing, no more blaming, none of this, oh, they did this, they did that, we aren't getting this, we aren't getting that. No one cares, just fix it.
You can't see me nodding, but the answer is yeah.
That's it. That's where we're at.
Maybe we're reaching that crescendo, and this is what I'm hearing, the soft whispers out there. And again, I'm probably going to be writing a post about some of this in the near future, but the failures, and it's not about pointing fingers. It's just that it's just ineffective. And I just don't think that the people that are in the positions understand what to do.
Yep.
And they'll probably say, I have no clue what I'm doing, so why do I even get to talk? But hey, look at the scoreboard.
Yep. Like I said before, I'm all about receipts, and we have those too. So,
so back to your rebuild piece. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out.
I'm glad we talked about it. It's important. I was trying desperately for us not to run a full hour, but
cares?
I tried.
If you sit in LA traffic, you're going to listen to us anyway.
It's true. So I wanted to touch a little bit because it's been a minute since we did on the state of the rebuild. The last time we did this was prior to the holidays and prior to the 1 year anniversary, and kind of like where we're at. So for anyone who doesn't know, LA County has a permitting progress dashboard that you can look at anytime. They actually update this multiple times a day. It is recovery.lacounty.gov if you want to get there. So, and then /rebuilding if you want to get a little more specific, but you'll find it if you just go to recovery.lacounty.gov. But, at this point for us here, just looking specifically at Altadena, not the Palisades, they have issued 995, or they say is actually let me be a little bit more specific about that. Sorry, I have to go back to a different view.
In the meantime, we'll play some music.
No, it's good. It's good. I know. I wish you could see me because I'm like, la, 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 pouring over this map. And they've changed this up a little bit since the last time I looked at it. That map is
horrible.
It's not the easiest to look at, but they show that it's kind of interesting. Their new residential average business days to permit issuance is 95 days. Here we go. I found what I wanted. I was actually in the wrong view.
But that's the average.
We have 599 residences in construction, and we have 6 completed. Okay, so 9,000 to rebuild, and 599 in construction. And of that 599 in construction, that doesn't tell me exactly how many of those are single-family residences versus parcels. Because, for example, if you have a property where you are doing a home and an ADU or 2 homes and 2 ADUs, that's,
those are 2 permits.
It's 4
permits.
It's 4 on one parcel. So, and we're counting versus what needs to be rebuilt is number of parcels that were lost. So, these numbers are stacked in the favor of those putting them out here to looked at. But it is kind of you don't say. But it's interesting to follow it. I mean, it is moving just incredibly slowly, and we know why. The county still hasn't ramped up. A year later, they still have not been able to ramp up to anywhere near meet the needs of this rebuild. And we know that because we're at the one-stop permit shop yesterday, and we're told by the people there, who are Public Works, that they have 4 inspectors currently. That's how many inspectors they have for all of Altadena, with 9,000 builds needing to happen. 4 inspectors. And those inspectors are each currently doing 20 to 30 inspections per day. They are often just quickly signing off with varying degrees of scrutiny, and not just scrutiny, of compliance. In some cases, they're kind of allowing the general contractors to be trusted. And even when they're not, like a friend of mine ran into a situation where just like on her property line is what she now knows is an unpermitted retaining wall, when all retaining walls require permit. It's an unpermitted wall. And when she went to county and said, okay, well, you did this. You allowed them to build this without a permit, and you know it because the inspector's been out there for other things. She was told, what's a civil issue now? If you have a problem with the wall, when your garage collapses into his property, you can sue him civilly.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's how they're handling this. And it's the same thing with soil compaction, which is haphazardly being enforced. We know this, been watching it and talking about this with the dirt issue, that people, and for people who don't understand this, when you build a new home from the ground up, but most especially in situations like all of ours, where a lot of homes had California basements or walk-in crawl spaces, large crawl spaces, or even if you had neither of those things and you were on slab, you had a minimum of 6 inches removed from your home site, and very likely more by the Army Corps because of the debris removal and the toxic nature of that topsoil. So when you do all of that, you need to bring earth back. And when you do that, you need to ensure that that earth is properly settled. So the way that works generally is that, with a soils engineer, is they will dig out below the grade required for the foundation by X number of feet and outside of it by X number of feet. Then put the dirt back. So even if it's all native dirt, you're taking it all out and you put it back, compacting it every few inches and testing it every few inches, which requires the right moisture and other conditions and quality soil to be sure that, and no debris, to be sure that you get true compaction so that you are literally putting your foundation on solid ground. Because if you're not, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have a cracked foundation sooner than later. And if we have an earthquake, you're really in deep shit.
Or you got
so,
the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
And that is now what is happening all over Altadena. I've been watching it as I've been up there every couple days, left and right, even on my own street. Homes and foundations going up, framing going up on soil that has not been compacted at all. And apparently the county is telling contractors to just have a soils engineer sign off and say that it was done. But it's not being done. And no one's inspecting. And this is what's happening all over. It's the Wild West up there. And good luck, everybody. Who knew that we all would have to become our own licensed general contractors? But apparently, we all need to become general contractors to actually police what's happening on our own rebuilds because
how much of this do you
half
think
of this shit is so bad.
How much do you think this has to do with the fact the elected that is involved or managing all this will not be in office when all of this comes to
100%. I mean, it's why we keep saying we have a lame duck supervisor in so many respects because doesn't need to do anything to be voted back in. You know, it's she's out, she's termed out, she's done, much like our governor. So
I guess that's advantageous because technically we would have support coming in, but it's disadvantageous. Or you'd think that they would use up some of that capital right now to get things done right, but that's not happening.
Correct. So I'm going to say we should wrap this one up.
You sure?
Yeah, I am. I know we have some other things to talk about, but I'm going to hold them for next week's episode.
What else do we have to talk about?
We have some park updates, but we're going to talk. It's not a brief conversation, so we'll hold that for next week. But for the end of this episode, for this week's this episode's small biz shout out, I'm actually going to give it to the Eagles. I don't know if many people haven't talked about the Eagles. Does everybody know the Eagles Airy? I always erroneously call it the Eagles Lodge.
When you said it to me, I was thinking like Big Lebowski.
He did.
Hate the fucking Eagles, man.
I was like, why do you hate the Eagles?
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Who doesn't love the Lebowski? It's like one of my favorite gifs is like, is him stirring. It's the dude stirring his White Russian with his what the fuck expression. I've abused that I've used it so often. I've abused it. I love it. With Lebowski, the dude. So I wanted to talk about the Eagles because I was actually remembering our remembrance. Okay, so beautiful Altadena, my group and our amazing team. It was very much not just me, but our incredible team, and really Stuart Brawley and Daniel Harlow took the lead on this, Stuart for creative and Daniel for all the tech, to produce online like what was the most beautiful vigil for the community. And it was viewed, live by thousands at the time. And we had performances, we had musical performances, we had poetry readings, we had business owners talking. One of them, was the Eagles. Bear Oaks Burger was there. Little Red Hen, I remember, was supposed to be there, but couldn't get connected. Who else? Aloe Black performed. Maya Jupiter read poetry. There was some pre-taped aerial performance that was really beautiful and really beautifully done, beautiful music. There was a whole package that we put together that I actually pulled thousands of images for. So brutal. Of all the places we lost, not just people's homes, but all of our landmarks, historic buildings, sites, restaurant businesses. It was so hard. I saw I saw a couple seconds of it this morning and started crying again. It was just too much to be reminded of everything we've lost. But in that, and then of course, Rhythms of the Village, the family band from a living room, from a temporary home that they were all in, convened and also did this beautiful performance. So anyone who wants to go and enjoy that vigil, if you missed it, I think kind of now just outside of the 1 year is the perfect. We did it last March, and like heading into this February, March time is a year later is like a good time to kind of sit with it if you're in a space like it may have been too soon. Frankly, last year it may even be too soon for some right now. But it was such a beautiful remembrance, and I encourage you to watch it. And if you have not checked out the Eagles Airy, that was a major hub for community response and community care. You know, they were one of the sites for World Central Kitchen in those early days and weeks and months. They had ongoing food available for community members and those working on the cleanup for months post-fire. And they're still there, and they still do a ton for the community. And it's an open organization. It costs next to nothing to become a member. It is a membership. And then you can use the facilities, you can use the bar, you can enjoy the cheapest drinks available in the land. It's like $2. Like some of the cocktails are like $2, some are like $3 or $4. It's like you're at a time warp. It's amazing. It's cash only. Grab your dollar bills, y'all, and go have some fun. But Steve's doing his little money dance, his little money hands over here. It's totally worth checking out. If you're not familiar, the Eagles is located on Woodbury, just west of Christmas Tree Lane, which is Santa Rosa.
Between Los Robles.
Between Los Robles. Exactly, between the top of Los Robles, where the, what is it called? Little Hen? No, what is it? What is that? Hen's Teeth Plaza.
Hen's Teeth Plaza, yeah.
I'm talking about Little Red Hen and getting confused, but thank you, Hen's Teeth Plaza, where Dim Books and Boba and King Breakfast and Burger and the Easy Halal Market are all located, all awesome businesses. If you're over, like kind of right there, it's a great little one stop to hit a bunch of local businesses in one. So go check out the Eagles. Big love to the Eagles. I'm a proud card carrying member, have been for a long time, since before the fire. And
I love the fucking
if you're
Eagles,
someone,
man.
Right. I was going to say, if you're someone who's been all about Good Neighbor Bar, which we obviously love too, you need to also be at the Eagles. If you're experiencing one and not the other, you're only experiencing half of Altadena. So get yourself to the Eagles.
All right.
With that, we'll wrap this one up. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks for being here.
Yep. Hopefully
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon.
And yeah, soon. We're hopefully recording next week, but trying to figure that out. We've got a couple conflicts, but we are going to see if we can do it remote. It'd be a grand experiment next week.
Indeed. So
yeah, join us then.
Thank you, Shauna, as always.
Thank you, Steve. Find Steve on Substack, Alta Policy Wonk.
And Shauna's at beautiful Altadena.
Yeah.
And all the different
everywhere
things.
Everywhere. I'm at places you don't even know that there's places. You know, I've owned the beautiful Altadena Slack channel for years and haven't used it.
What is?
I know.
I don't even understand what Slack is.
I know. I mean, we have a Slack community. We have, we have all of the things. I got to get on that. I need to clone myself. That's on the next episode. I'll be figuring out how to clone myself.
Get yourself an assistant.
Okay.
Part of the contract.
The contract for what?
I don't know.
Working for free?
Yeah.
Is there a free assistant who wants to work for me?
I don't know,
Or work with me?
So anyway.
Steve's volunteering himself to be my assistant.
I can't keep up with you. I have 3 kids, and especially, most importantly, my wife. So
most importantly.
Yes.
On that note, thanks for listening.
Bye, all.